Hey guys, Sid's here. Welcome to this interview where I'm with somebody who is a specialist in the space of business influence and helping business owners pull more sales using their influence. And Swastik came into my community, I think quite a while back. He had to figure out his niche and get to that sweet spot where he is today. In the last 45 days, he was able to achieve over 6.2 lakhs in total sales during this lockdown period where everyone is all businesses are actually going down. This guy is actually sizzling it. So Swastik, first of all, congratulations on really stepping in and helping a lot of business owners. That's amazing.
Thank you so much, Sid. It's a pleasure. It's I think this has been a milestone for me, and I think it feels fantastic to be here finally. I remember actually I joined the community maybe in May last year, and the first time when I got to it, I think the first session that I saw was the Hall of Fame part. Before I even started everything, I saw the Hall of Fame, went through a couple of things, and I'm like, okay, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to be, and it feels great to be here today.
You are here. You have arrived.
Yes.
Just anchor this in. This is the moment.
Yeah, it feels
You've
great.
arrived. Awesome. And this is just the first milestone. Next milestone is more to come.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about that journey. You know, you were working in the corporate world. I know we did that one-to-one long time back.
Right.
And you were in that self-discovery mode. I also remember that you were not, you were jumping from job to job, not finding that satisfaction in what you were doing. Right. Just walk us through that phase. Yeah.
Actually, it was not so much job to job. As soon as with my engineering getting over, with the accident and all of that, it started with music. And then it was a series of businesses that I started on my own. So my first business was called Entrepreneurship Studios. We were into interior design and home solutions. Then I started something called idkwhattowear.com. Then I started something called italkmusic.com. Then I went to drop shipping, started something called Maya. We were into fashion jewelry. Then got into wooden phone cases. Would you buy this? And then got into event management, Ansariya Showcase. Then so it's about 7 businesses that I started, all of which failed successively. And I think the only thing that I was consistent with was getting all the businesses to fail, I guess. And then it came to a point where I took up a job. I took up a job as a growth consultant, and it was fantastic. And the point was, I was helping other businesses grow. And the only thing going on in my mind is, why is my business not working out? I'm working with other businesses, their business is growing. Why isn't my business growing? And that is what was really stuck in my mind. And I think the entrepreneur worm, once it enters your head, it is difficult to be in a job.
Yes.
And I quit my job. And with that happening, came back home, and I had to move back to my parents. So I was on the other side of the town. I had to move back to my parents because of a lot of expenses. I came back home. The bigger issue was that's when my dad retired. And when he retired, there was no source of income at all. And in fact, that was also not the issue. The issue was, together as father and son, we were in about 1.17 crore a loss because of bad investments that we made. And I remember this day where I was there in the supermarket thinking about, can I afford eggs for my family? I had 50 rupees in my account, and I'm thinking Suguna eggs cost about 70 rupees. If I buy the local eggs, it'll be 5 rupees into 6, 30 rupees. And I'm thinking, what is this? What is happening to my life? Where I'm not even able to afford breakfast for my family, and that's when I knew something had to change. And I think that's where the discovery phase began, and that's how it's been.
Which year was that? Was it last year or the year before?
This was last year. So basically, I quit my job in 2019, Jan 26th on Republic Day.
Okay.
I remember.
Freedom.
And once that happened, Jan 26th, I came back home by about March. And that's the phase where I tried. I realized that, okay, starting another business was not an option because I did not feel confident about myself. 7 businesses failing. I thought another business, another year wasted, another, a lot of time spent. And that's where all of your people are going ahead of you. You feel that you're still in that phase where you were an engineer and nothing has changed. So I was quite literally paralyzed thinking about what to do next. I think that was the point.
So it is like a year back, more than around 15 months back.
Yes,
based on the interview that we're doing now.
Yeah.
So 15 months ago, you didn't have money to buy breakfast for your family. That was the situation.
Yes.
And you've done 6.2 lakhs now, 45 days. This year would have been a phenomenal journey. So before we talk about this roller coaster ride on this side, let's talk about, based on all the failures you have seen in those 7 different ventures, what was a common pattern that you noticed? What was you think that was a reason for those failures?
One thing that now that I'm looking back, now I'm able to see it and connect the dots. Then it didn't make sense at all. That time it was like, why is it not working? Things are just not working out. I don't know why. But now if I look back, it makes sense. The one thing that I was not good at was pulling people. When I say pulling people, I would go behind people and try to sell. And one other thing that is common was I did not know why I started that venture. And it was only money. The reason I started my first interior company was purely because I saw there was a lot of money in the interior space. I never for a second thought, okay, I want to beautify houses. I want to make the living space better for people. Never once occurred to my mind. The only math that was in my mind was, okay, if I get into interiors, if I invest about 2 lakhs, I get 4 or 5 lakhs in return. Good money in the interior space. And that's the only reason I got in. And I think that's the reason I got into every single venture of mine.
Powerful.
And now that I look back, it just doesn't make sense, because when you go behind money, I think it just runs away from you. Same as when you go behind customers, they run away from you. You go behind money, money just runs away from you. So that was one thing. That's the main reason why things failed.
Wow. And when did you get into my course? Was it around that same time, like last year, March, April?
May, I guess.
May. Okay. So you got into it. So tell us, let's walk through that first 3-4 months. Like what was running through your mind, and how were you figuring things out for yourself?
So actually, I don't know what was running through my mind. During that phase, it was massive confusion, massive chaos, and massive fear. Actually, I would say a lot of fear, because I've quit my job. I've taken a leap. I've taken the decision to quit my job. All the businesses have failed. Now I'm seeing real life crisis, because dad is retired. I know that expenses are coming in. I was quite literally paralyzed. So this is the phase where I would wake up at 4 in the morning, start going through YouTube, start going through different people, start reading books, doing random things without knowing why I'm doing it. But the intention was, okay, I need to get out of this mess. I've created a mess and I need to get out of it. And today I think the mess has become a message, and it feels great. So, but the objective was to do something. A couple of things that I knew I was good at was, one is I was great at talking to people. I knew that I was great on stage, because a lot of feedback that I've gotten, and being a musician, I think being on stage was a very critical part of my career. So I was great at being on stage. I was great at talking to people. I was great at connecting with them. And that is how it started, in the intention of purely figuring out what to do. And the mess that I was in, I started putting it out as my message, and I started talking to people on Instagram saying, if things are not working out for you, just give it another try. Because that's what I was telling myself every single morning. And whatever I was telling myself every single morning, I would go on Instagram and put it out. That's how it started.
Okay. Tell us about the next phase, like the learning journey. Like after you got my course, what were the elements that you started to observe? Any pattern shifts that was happening in your life?
So once I got into this, so I think it was a series of things that happened. So I remember the first program that I got into, this was before your program, was this thing called Landmark. There was this program called Landmark, and I did their, I think the Landmark Forum. I participated in the forum. And I remember prior to the Landmark Forum, this is when I had, so I think this context is important, because this is where things change. So we went to the preview, me and my friend, his name is Gautam Casey, we went to this preview, and we attended the seminar. And for some reason, the seminar just did not connect with me. It did not connect with me in any way, and I had absolutely no intentions of getting into the program. But what happened was, I think the MD of some company, I don't recall which firm, the MD of some company, he was there. For some reason, he came in front of me and he started talking to me. He asked me, Swastik, what do you do? What's happening? And he started talking to me about my life. And before I knew it, it had been about 2 hours. And he's like, you know what, if you really want to change your life, just take my word. I know that you don't like this seminar. Just take my word and get into this program. And here's the thing. He was not somebody who was selling the course. He was one of the participants. And I'm like, if there's one director who's much more experienced than me, he's been talking to me for the last 2 hours, maybe there's something in it. And I got into it. And when I got into it, here's the thing. I had my credit card. My friend was broke. And I think the balance was about 30,000 in my credit card. and I had some 2000 and 3002 cards. So I went to my friend and I'm like, you know what, do you think we should do this? He's like, I think we should. He didn't say it now. He's like, we should do it later. But I'm like, you know what, 34,000, 3 cards, 30,000, 2,000, 3,000. Let's do the math. I swiped 3 cards to pay for the 2 of us, 17,000, and we paid for the Landmark Forum, 34,000. And we got into it. And I think, and this is the guy, by the way, this is the guy I met after 8 years. So he was my friend in PU. And for some reason, we got connected after 8 years in some gym that we just ran into each other, and I paid for him. And we got into this program, and that's the journey of my learning process. After the Landmark, the first program that I did was yours. And I think this is where I thought, okay, now that I'm good at speaking, and this is the phase where people were interacting with me on my Instagram. People were saying, Swastik, your thoughts, the things that you're telling us is really helping me. And I somewhere felt that maybe I can help people. I can talk to people. They're able to relate to me. They're able to connect to me. I just need a direction in which I can help people. I didn't know how to help people, but I knew I could help people because I knew. And I think this again happened where a lot of people were connecting with me. And one night when I came back home after a talk in an NGO, so I started getting invites for talks in NGOs because of my Instagram. But here's the thing: when I came back home that night, I had about 30 rupees in my account. That night, I'm thinking, what the hell? I'm talking to so many people. But again, I'm still broke. Nothing has changed in my life. People are talking to me. People want to work with me, but my bank balance is still the same. And it's not changing my life. How can I change their life? Right? So that night when I had that 30 rupees in my account, I'm like, I put a story on my Instagram saying, guys, I think I want to start a course on getting things done. This was before you, by the way, just before you, getting things done. And I'm going to be charging 500 rupees for this course. Anybody who wants, you can send me 500 rupees to my Paytm. And before I knew it, I think about 12 or 13 people paid 500 rupees into my Paytm. And in the next 30 minutes, I had 6,000 rupees, from 30 rupees to 6,000 rupees. And okay, I'm like, okay, this is working. But I still don't have a course. Now I don't know what to do. And what do I do with that 5,000 rupees? I find Siddharth Rajsekar.
Wow.
And that's how I bought the first program. The first program I bought. And luckily what happened was during that time, I got a gig. It was on my birthday. I got a gig and I got paid some money. And that's where in 3 days, I bought your Freedom Setup Challenge as well. With all the money that I got paid for that gig, I paid for your Freedom Setup Challenge. And in fact, there was some money left. So I paid back all the people who had paid me 6,000 rupees. So I told them, guys, this course is not happening. Because I'll make it happen soon, but it's not happening at this point. Thank you so much for trusting me. And I sent all the money back to them. And that's the journey of the Freedom business model and how I made money for that.
Wow. This was May, June last year.
June 6th last year is when I had the gig, and that's when I got paid, and that's where I got your program. Yeah.
Okay, we are recording this video on May 7th. Okay, so it's like 11 months ago.
Exactly,
okay?
11 months. Shit,
11 months ago. Okay, so then let's go deeper into this now. What happened like June, July, August, September? What?
July 7th. I remember in one of your inner circle calls. You spoke about MMI. And I remember texting you that day, said, I don't have any money. Should I do MMI? You said, go for it. And I think you're the only person that I've just blindly followed. If you said, do this, I've done it. If you said, do this, I've done it. And you said, go for it. And I got on board with MMI. And I think July 7th is when I met you in MMI for the first time.
Yes, we met in Chennai.
Yes, we met in Chennai. And I remember having this conversation again when they sold Quantum Leap. It was about, we had to pay about 4 lakhs, right? So I remember the Quantum Leap conversation with you. I told you, I don't have money. What do you think I should do? And I remember you telling me, Swastik, if you want to take action, if you want to go to the next level, go for it. And this is where I was with my friend Gautam Casey. I think you remember him now because he was also there with me.
Yes.
And this is the day where I took his card and he had 90,000 credit. I had absolutely no money. We flew in on his cash. We stayed on his money. I had absolutely no money at that point. Both of us purchased the Quantum Leap. We paid 45,000 and we bought Quantum Leap. And I had absolutely no idea how I was going to pay him back. I had no idea how I was going to pay the next 3.5 lakhs for Quantum Leap in the next 30 days as well. Absolutely no clue. And I think MMI, and that is the phase where I started borrowing money from people. Till then, of course, I was borrowing small money, but that is the phase where I started getting into massive debt for
personal growth.
For personal growth, and that's where I started borrowing money. I started borrowing more money. So the first phase of borrowing was for Quantum Leap. 45K was from him, and then the next 3.5 lakh. The first set of borrowed money was from my parents. I told my dad, see, I know I'm in this place, but I think I can go somewhere now. The thing is, I want some 3 lakhs to pay for the next Quantum Leap thing. But the thing is, that did not end there. Just when I started Quantum Leap, of course, by the way, July 7th is when we came to Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Finished MMI, sorry. July 10th, when I went back home, I did my first webinar, and I did 1.5 lakhs in sales in the first webinar.
Wow.
So that was through the freedom business model, the entire setup. I did 1.5 lakhs in sales. And that is where it started. So the earning started long back, but the reason the earning did not sustain is because of the borrowing and repaying. And now I think over the last, if I look at it, I've spent over 20 odd lakhs into my education through different mentors.
During the tough time. Yes.
During the tough time, absolutely no money. And I still, at this point, today morning, I sent a lot of messages to people saying, it's been 1 year now from the time I started. Thank you for all the support. Every single person who has supported me, I've sent deep messages to everybody on my chat today.
Amazing.
Yeah, because I remember everybody, see, half of it was this few people who thought I was wasting my time. I was wasting money, and I was spending more money when I was not making money. That was the half of my friend circle. The other half of my friend circle was, Swastik, you will make it happen. You will. I somewhere know that you will make it big one day. I know for a fact that you will make something happen, and you go for it. And that was the other half, and that other half kept me pushing. That's where the money borrowing started. From you to Rajiv Talreja, to so many people actually, for Billie Jean, to Sabri, to who else? So many mentors. I can't remember. Over 30, 35 people that have been mentored by. I think the one thing that I didn't listen to you, perhaps, is you kept saying, follow one mentor. And that did not work for me very specifically because of this. See, you were building coaches. The thing is, I was not ready to be a coach. I did not have enough substance to be a coach. I did not have things in me to go out and tell people that, do this and things will change. And that's where I'm glad that I didn't take your advice on that one piece, because when I did the first webinar, I realized that somewhere deep inside, I'm like, you don't know this. You're not doing this. How can you go sell this to people? And I couldn't sell it. And that's where I went on this massive learning curve and learned from mentor to mentor to mentor to mentor to and I think in the last 1 year, I've read over 150 to 200 odd books.
Amazing. And then, now you would have developed your own formula through that journey.
Yes. It's become an own formula now. It's been fantastic. Yes.
Wow. So back to the timeline. So we have May, July, you did your first sale, you did that webinar. Then you went into this whole mode of relearning. I would say this really intense learning mode.
Yes.
And then MMI happened. You were spending money, borrowing and on all personal development stuff, which when you were in the toughest point. At what point did you develop your formula? And when you started to sell? Was it just in the last 3 months?
No. So as the time passed, so basically we remember the day we created the offbeat lifestyle. You came up with the name offbeat lifestyle. That's how the offbeat lifestyle part started. But over a period of time, I was not convinced with the offbeat lifestyle model. Then I created something called, I think, wealth matrix. Something called the wealth matrix. That did not work. Then I created, I said, you know what? Screw all this. Let's go to the mind space. Then I created something called the mind operating system. That did not work. So I'm like, screw that. Then I created something called, I don't know. I think I created something called smarketing. Correct. So Swastik and marketing becomes marketing. So that faded away. So I think through the last 11 months, I've created 5 different courses, each of which had bundles of 7 products, all of which recorded, none of which took off.
And what is your indicator that it does not work? Like, what was that factor?
So I would do.
How long would you test?
Every webinar was at least 5-6 webinars. Week after week after week, spending about 30,000-40,000 in ads, and saying that nobody is buying, nobody is buying, nobody is buying, nobody is buying. Maybe I should change something. And with every webinar, I would take feedback on why they did not buy, what they were expecting, what they saw from this, what they did not see from this, why they did not see value. And every product was the next step. Every product that I created, except the switch from business to mind part, everything else that I created was a step ahead into what is called the business influence mastery today. Because
so
this marketing led to business, because I have workbooks printed out, 10 workbooks printed out, each of which is an upgraded level from the previous one. And the current workbook, which is called the business influence mastery today, is the one which is cumulative of all these things.
Amazing. So even though it did not work at that point, now it is all added up.
Everything is added up.
Everything is added up.
Everything is added up.
Amazing. In fact, one of the reasons I started this whole hackathon is to help people develop that, because that was not there when you had done that one-to-one.
Right.
So January, I said, guys they have to develop something unique on their own, and we pushed them through that in the 30-day window to make it happen.
Okay.
And that is based on the feedback that you mentioned. Like, I know many people who got in like last year. Even I was not mature in that aspect. It was like more to go out there and start coaching. Okay. And that was the part of the evolution of journey in my model as well. Like what you said, it's based on all that feedback that comes that actually creates a model. So fantastic. So now this business influence, what a course that you've actually created. When did you launch the first version of it? I mean, I would say the fully evolved version.
I think the first version was perhaps Feb this
year.
Okay. That's the first, perhaps Feb 9th or 10th was the first webinar, out of which I think there were 7 people who showed up and 5 people who bought the program for the webinar. Nice.
So it was wholesome. Like
that is like the eureka moment, I quite literally remember jumping out and, calling everybody saying, finally it happened. It just happened finally. And that was the moment, the first few people who joined in, and that's when I was delivering these workbooks also home. Their house. So
physical copies.
Yeah. I wanted to have that standout factor. Now I don't do it because of the Corona thing. It's stopped. And perhaps now I don't intend to do it. I'll perhaps print out proper workbooks, and let's see, in the future, that's a different plan. But that's when I used to develop, print it out. So I had hired one person to sit printing out all these books and spiral bind it and ship it out. And Feb was the first, the fully developed whole version of this was created in Feb.
How much money did you make in March?
March, I did, I think roughly about 2 lakhs maybe.
2 lakhs. Okay. Well, that was your
we're in May,
month.
Right? We're in May, right?
Okay. March was your biggest month for the first time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
2, and then March, April. What next month? What was the
April?
Next?
The last month we did. The last month itself we did about 5.5 or something.
Wow.
So I don't think I have my numbers right. I think the 6.2 is also not exactly right, because now that you're asking me these questions, I'm like, okay, we've done more. Now I have to get my finances sorted, because now we are all over the place. So I think we have gone from that phase to chaos where you're like work.
Yes.
Okay, results are coming and I can still work. That phase where, Blair Singer talks about you going to work, and then you go breathing. I think I'm in that space now where I need to set up processes and systems.
Yes. Awesome. But still, I mean, this is a great, I think now that you're in that pivoting point now where the model is working. You have been through that evolution of developing something really solid for that market. And the market is responding to you, and you're doing. So how many webinars in a week are you doing? 1 or 2? What's your?
Now at this point, I've been doing experimenting between 1 and 2 on the show up rate, because even the ads have been quite dicey with Facebook. Because of Corona, and they keep they keep doing things, So my webinar is slightly dependent on that. I want to take the dependency of Facebook for that, to see what are the other sources that I can tap into. That's what I'm currently studying. So now my learning phase is into traffic. How can I bring more traffic into my life?
Yes.
But one webinar is for sure. If there is more traffic, then I do 2 webinars. In fact, last webinar, I remember, this was the first webinar last week on Wednesday, not yesterday, last week, Wednesday. At 10:55, for the first time in my life, 100 people on a Wednesday morning on a working day at 11 a.m., 100 people filled into my webinar, 62 messages on my WhatsApp saying, Swastik, I'm not able to get into your webinar. And I think today, this is the second milestone of my life. So maybe this 2 milestones in a week.
Yeah.
The first milestone was that 100 people target and people texting saying, Swastik, I'm not able to get into your webinar. And that day, what happened was at about 12:15, 12:30 is where my sales pitch starts. 12:15, my internet goes off. 12:15, my internet goes off and it does not come back for 15 minutes. And I'm sitting tense. I'm calling my internet operator saying, what the hell are you doing? What is happening and all this? And 12:30, I log in with absolutely no hopes. And I think at 12:30, 81 people log in back again.
Wow.
81 people log in back saying, Swastik, I'm with you. Everybody saying with you, Swastik, don't worry. I just gave them 2 more minutes. I played one song saying, let me just give more people time to log in. 81 people log in back at 12:30 and it was fantastic. And I think that night I couldn't sleep again. I'm like, okay, this is finally happening. Yeah.
Amazing. How much did you clock in that night in that one webinar?
I think that one webinar we did 1 lakh or something.
Superb. Yeah. So do you have a team now? Are you working with a team?
Oh, yes.
What is your structure like? Yeah.
We have a team of 4 people right now, and we are hiring the 5th person in the next 3 days.
Very nice.
Next 3 days, I think this is where a lot of credit goes to Rajsekar. Where I remember same conversation, similar conversations on how I've had with you, I've had with Rajiv as well, where I told him, Rajiv, you know what? I'm a solopreneur. I don't know what to do. He's like, come into Pace. I said, okay. I got into Pace, texted a few friends, I need some money, took money and put it into Pace and started doing Pace. And that's when I thought, I need to have a team. I need to have a team because I want people who can push me up, I can push them up and we grow together. And I think that's where Sell It Like Swastik started. So my brand is called Sell It Like Swastik. And this started, I think, in December 6th, 2019. December 6th to December 9th, 2019. And I'm not the only founder of Sell It Like Swastik. So I'm the co-founder of Sell It Like Swastik. And there's my friend, her name is Ramya Krishna. She's the co-founder. And in fact, she is the brains behind the entire company. She is the backbone of the company. Even though she doesn't step in front, never shows her face. All videos are, it's just me. Everything is just me. But she's the driving force behind the entire brand.
Awesome.
So she takes care of everything from, customer management to all the videos, all the scheduling, all the timelining, all the planning, everything is seamless. She's taking care of that in a way that I don't have to think about what I need to do to get a webinar sorted. So the webinar part is taken care of. All the operations part is taken care of. As soon as people join in, there is another, communication media manager that we have. She's a young psychology kid. Her name is Kama. And she takes care of the whole communication. So as soon as somebody buys in, she takes care of sending the message saying, welcome on board. Here's your link. She's the one who's in charge of all the customer texting and she makes sure that everything is seamless there. And then I have a digital marketer on board as well who takes care of all my advertising. So at this point, my sole focus is only on selling and doing my webinars and R&D and product development. This is something that I learned from this guy. What's his name? Our secret. I'm not even
John D. Martini.
Mr. Martini. This is what I learned from him. He told me that, on the webinar that day, not on the webinar, after the live session when I was talking to him, he said, if you don't fill your life with high value things, the low value things will automatically seep in.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, I don't like doing the creative part. I don't like doing the video editing part. What I like is the talking part. I'm really good at it. I can do that the entire day.
Yes.
So this is where I got thinking, how can I do this in a way that I do the things that I like? And I just thought that I need to find people who like the things that I don't like and who don't like the things that I like. So in a way, there's no clash anywhere. And I think we have a solid system where none of our interests collide in any way and they're good at what they do. They're insanely good at what they do because I could never do what they do. And it's the same everywhere. So
awesome.
Yeah.
That's the power of the team. Yeah. In fact, even though I say build a business without any officer employees, I have a team where actually, so I have a community manager, but initially I used to do all the customer support myself. Okay. And then at the scale at which I'm in, I used to be answering 300 emails in a day. Okay. And then I got a community manager. So that's the first role that is filled. And then now I have a content guy who handles all the content.
That's awesome.
And still there's a lot more, I was able to tweak the processes a lot. So I think you have done a smart move by finding somebody who can push you from, on all the other sides. So based on your past business, whatever patterns you've seen, you've just plugged in all those holes so that you can focus on what you really want to do.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah.
So
Nice.
that takes care of a lot of these things where,
Yeah.
And at this point, Sell It Like Swastik is, we are not, so basically I'm not an online coach so much. I'm not an online coach so much, but Sell It Like Swastik is a consulting firm. So we consult for coaches, consult other consultants and network marketers. We consult for them offline. So as a team, I thought, okay, why should we just restrict ourselves to the online space? We can go out there and do more work. And so we consult for people on, offline.
Offline as well.
And I think that's another vertical on its own. At this point, what I'm doing, these courses, I don't have a tripwire, I don't have a core product, and I don't have that model. Because at this point, this is something that I'm purely doing because I absolutely enjoy working with people. Because last night in my weekly call, so every Wednesday is a weekly call, everybody who's there, so we get on call at 8 and sometimes it goes till 11:30, and for me there is no end time for me on that call. I stay there till every question is answered. At least at this point I'm able to do it because the community is small, and it's so nice to be with them. Even though I started my day with the webinar and went all the way till 11:30, the energy still remained. And what I'm doing right now with the Business Influence Mastery is just purely so that they don't have to invest the 20 lakhs that I did. They don't have to invest the 2000 hours that I did. They don't have to spend 6-7 years messing up like I did. So everybody I tell them that there's no upsell here. There is nothing. What you see is what you get. And if I add more courses into this, you are not going to have to pay. Which means if you bought now, you're not going to have to pay. Maybe the people buying in the future, they might have to pay in multiple slabs. But you're not going to have to pay a single rupee. And that's how Business Influence Mastery started with 5,000 rupees, 4,997. And today we are selling it at 12,499.
Nice. Awesome. I mean, that's what once you have the solid product, and people can see the value, they don't look at the number. If they can see that they're going to get a return on what they invest, that's awesome. Superb. So what an amazing journey. All of you, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, just type amazing in the comment box, because this is what it really takes. And Swastik, I'm super proud of the way that you've evolved and you've developed a system of your own, a unique model of your own, going through your own learnings, and you're quick to experiment, quick to fail, quick to rehash things, package it once more. I mean, I think that is the factor, because normally people, they once they hit the road, they hit a brick wall and they're like, wait, this does not work. And I'm sure many people, even in my community, they try a webinar, they do one webinar and it bombs, and it's like, okay, this is not for me, but you pushed like at least 4 or 5 versions into it to make it happen.
That reminds me, in my Zoom recordings, I've segregated folders. It says failed webinar 1, failed webinar 2, failed webinar 3, failed webinar 4, sort of work webinar 1, failed webinar 6, failed webinar 7. So it's a bundle of failed webinars. Now that I look at it, I'm like, okay, this had to fail. There is no reason this could be successful. This had to fail. So I think fail fast, fail differently is one thing. That is something that I tell my team even now. And I tell them, if every day, if you're not failing in something, then you're not doing something right. So every day I tell them, you're never going to be questioned for failing at anything. You'll only be questioned when you fail at the same thing. So that's one thing that me and Ramya follow, both of us. So with the team, it's a small team, but still we follow the same principle, saying we are never going to question you on anything that you fail. It doesn't matter how big the failure is. If it's a new thing, you're never going to be questioned. But it's the same thing. That's when we have to have a talk. Otherwise, we don't need to have a talk. And fail fast, fail differently is the mantra that I'll follow for the rest of my life.
Amazing. Great, man. That's what a story. So as far as the freedom business model is concerned, what do you think were the top 3 glaringly 3 factors that created like this quantum shift in your operation? From my courses, what were the 3 things that come to the top of your head?
Okay, so the first thing that came into my mind was, first thing is, okay, Swastik, you can sit at home and make this possible, right? That is the first thing. The first thing, before any of the setup and before any of the technicalities, first thing is, today I can sit in my house 24/7 and quite literally mint money is 100% possible. And it's the second part, more than the setup, was, you're not earning money. You're not in this business to make money. You're in this business to help people, and making money is a default. Like, for example, Sid, when I look at you, I know for a fact that this guy has to be bloody rich. Sid has to be rich. There is no other way, because I see the work that he puts in, and there is no other way. And I think that's one thing that I learned from you, and one thing that I learned from many people, even Russell Brunson. When I look at him, there is no doubt that you guys have to be very, very successful in life because you do that work. So that's the second thing. So I think before I took a lot of core values more than the technicalities, because the setup challenge is purely technical, right? And you've massively simplified it in a way that you just have to follow it step by step, and you have a course online. But Sid, I think what I took from you was the core principles that put in the work, put in the efforts, nurture the community, build a community, help them out. There is no other way but success. So that is the first thing that those are the two things, I guess. But of course, all the system setup and understanding that the principles of landing pages, these things that I didn't even know before. The concept of internet marketing is something that I purely learned from you. At this point, I consult with so many businesses, and they think that I'm a master in landing pages and taking people through a funnel. But I think I had absolutely no knowledge before I got on board with you. So those are the things that I've massively learned from what you have taught me.
Thank you, Swastik. I mean, thank you. Really glad that you were able to absorb it, and now you are on a roll. You're independent, and you can truly, take it and magnify to the extent that you want. Super. Right. So guys, if you're watching this, in my YouTube channel, in the description, I have a link to Swastik's pages. You can go and check him out. Go and see if you want to up your sales and stuff. Go through his program. You can see right now he has a solid proven model right now. Just follow what he's doing if you want to magnify your sales over there. And if you want to learn the system, the Freedom Business System that he implemented, jump into, there's a formula link below. Go and watch the formula, go watch my video, jump into the bandwagon, and we can truly make a difference together. And we are building an army of people who are doing things in their own unique ways, using their own unique abilities to make a difference in this world. So once again, Swastik, thank you so much. I'm super proud of you. Next interview, when you're going to be crossing that 1 crore mark, let's do that.
Yes,
and
happening soon.
That is your next milestone.
Definitely.
So based on all these patterns and, your life experience that has happened till this point, if you have to come up with one mantra, what would that mantra be for somebody who's watching you? What is the one thing that somebody should think about? What is your message for them to have that breakthrough in their life?
So I can only talk about people like me. So I cannot talk for people who are 40, 50 years old, because that's a very different ballgame. But if you're anywhere in this age group of 25 to maybe 35, what I can say is do not go deep into one thing. Go broad first. See what is it that clicks with you. See, because at one point, as you're going through the spectrum, you'll be like, okay, this is for me. Where have you been all this while? This could be with a mentor. This could be with a book that you read. This could be with the domain that you want to explore. You feel like, okay, this is a marriage. This is a marriage. And I know for a fact that this is something that will hold me for a lifetime. So go broad before you go deep. A lot of mentors, everybody say go deep, and that's when you'll find gold. Fair enough. But maybe at some point when you go deep, if you feel that you don't want to go deep anymore, it's okay. It is okay to rewind, get out of that pit and restart again, because 7 businesses failed. Again, in just the Freedom Business Model, 5 courses that I created which did not take off in different domains. Every time I went deep, created all these courses, recorded all of them, put it up on the webinar, sold it. If it does not work, it just means that you're not married to it. So go broad, something will click, and you'll know that, okay, this is something that I want to go really, really, really deep in. And that is where you go deep. So don't get carried away thinking that I need to go deep completely. If at some point, if you feel like it's not working out, it's okay. So the shiny object syndrome just means that you've not found your stuff yet. At this point, the other things don't attract me.
Yeah.
But when I was in the other things, everything else attracted me. I'm like, that is nice. This is nice. This is nice. So the shiny object syndrome will go away on its own. But till the shiny object syndrome is there, it just means that you've not found your thing. So shiny object syndrome is a great thing. So absorb it, which it just means that you've not found your thing.
Awesome.
So that's the message that I would want to give.
Powerful message. Go wide, then go narrow, and then go deep.
Yes.
You'll find you'll pick up all the skills from all over the place and integrate
Very
that.
important for that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Swastik. Wish you all the very best. And guys watching this video, share your comments below on what was your key learning from this particular interview. We're going to be reading all those comments, whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, hit that bell button, do all the regular stuff. And there's more interviews like this coming. So Swastik, more power to you, man. Go and inspire the world.
Thank you so much, Sid. Thank you so much. Love the work that you're doing. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for me and for the other people around. Very, 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 it's an honor to be here today. And it's an honor to be associated with you. And in fact, in the third secret of my webinar, you are the secret. The third secret is Siddharth Rajsekar, actually. Actually, when I say third secret is Siddharth Rajsekar, it's about making videos. And I tell people I take people through your, polyphonic ringtone journey to how you made it today. And I tell people that, this man has put in efforts. If you're here in this webinar thinking that this is a get-rich-quick scheme, this is not for you. I followed Siddharth Rajsekar because he puts in the efforts. And if you're willing to put in the effort, then this is for you. And I think that's the value that I picked up, like I told you. And thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Superb. Good stuff, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And Swastik, rock on.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.